So I bought this Land Rover. Yeah, so I moved out of my apartment and I'm staying at my parents for the time being. I was planning on not buying a replacement vehicle until after I'd gotten the FJ sold, but I saw this spray paint camouflage shit box. I saw it on Marketplace. It was like 5 minutes away, so I went to go look at it, and I was honestly going there with the intention to, or the expectation that I was just gonna like kick the tires and, snoop around a bit and just kind of shrug my shoulders and leave. I wasn't planning on buying anything that day. The guy was asking $1,700 for it. I talked him down to 13, and then he came down another $100 after, me and my dad were taking our time, really like kicking the tires and whatnot. And so then he said, okay, if you bring cash today, we'll do $1,200. So I went and got the cash and drove it home. And now I have quite a project on my hands. So I knew this was going to be a pretty in-depth project from the beginning, so I thought it would be worth the time and effort to go ahead and make sure that I had a good workspace ready to go. So I started to sort of reclaim this shed we got out back that's been more or less forgotten about at this point. So the main thing was there's this huge pile of wood that I had to deal with. So I took some twine rope and tied it up and kind of made like a rack thing, directing the lumber from the ceiling. And then I also went ahead and drove some of these steel pipes in the ground with a T-post driver. And so I had a sort of slot that I could stack some of the wood inside of. And that cleared up a lot of the space under the shed. Then I just had to rake the rocks and the leaves away and pull out some sawhorses and set up a couple tables. It took me better part of the weekend to get all that done, but it was definitely worth it in the end. All right. Mission accomplished for the day. So as you can see now, I can not only fit the vehicle in there, I can fit the vehicle still with space on either side to get around and work on it. But yeah, now I have like an actual like place to work on it, not just like out in the yard in the open air. So that's nice. That's really nice. All right, we're making headway. This is exciting. So I introduced the vehicle and all that in the last bit that I recorded. Now I'm about to do the first little bit of work on it. I'm just changing the oil. It's not a huge deal. But it is the first time I'm going to turn a wrench on the vehicle, so I thought that'd be worth vlogging about. All right, so I believe the crisis has been averted. So what happened was when I was, what really happened was I mistook the transmission pan for the oil pan. So I ended up, when I took this out the first time, I drained the transmission fluid and not the oil. That is not the first time I've ever done that. First time on this vehicle, not the first time I've ever done that in my life. So maybe that's just like a me thing. When I figured that out, I drained the oil and filled it back up. And so now like the oil has been properly changed, new filter, new oil, all that. So then I had to figure out what the fuck to do with this. Because what happened was I changed the oil, I thought, but I drained the transmission instead of the oil. So when I went to check the level, the oil was like way over full, like twice as much as it needed to be in there, which makes sense because it had 2 servings of oil basically. So then before I figured out that it was a transmission fluid, I went to go drain it and put it back in. And when I did that, that's when this broke off. When I like pulled the plug to drain it and then tried to put it back in, when I was putting it back in, then it broke. I didn't crank on it super hard. It just like broke off. So it was going to break off sooner or later anyway. So all things considered, it's probably good that I figured this out this early on and know to replace the part. In my eternal wisdom, I realized I could probably just jam a screwdriver into there, and then I would have leverage from both sides. So we're gonna see if that works. Oh yeah, let's go. Oh, I dropped it. Booyah. I got that stupid son of a bitch. See, that was the part that came off the plug and broke off in there. This was stuck inside the threading of the transmission pan, right? And as I was tightening this, it just broke off, right? And so then the magnet would hold the plug in place, but it wouldn't actually tighten, right? So I ended up getting this back out of there with I just took a flathead and like jammed it in there and like turned it, right? The auto parts store down the road, neither of them had the part that I needed, so ABC is ordering one for me. I'm gonna go pick it up tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so I got this drain plug, or this transmission drain plug from ABC just now, and the threading, according to their database, is supposed to be the correct size threading for this. Looking at it, I'm a little skeptical. It looks slightly smaller. The original looks slightly bigger than the one I just got. But, you know, all I can do is get out the socket wrench and try it out. So let's do that. I'll get the air filter in a few days. I had to order that too. Ended up ordering that off Amazon. So my air filter did not arrive when it was expected to. It arrived 2 days early. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this bad boy in the whatever you'd call the air intake manifold or whatever it's called. Now this will take like 2 minutes, not very long at all. Well, there you have it. I bought a shitbox 90s Land Rover on a whim, and I'm fixing it up as best I can to get ready to drive down through Mexico and beyond. Eventually getting to Costa Rica. The next thing that I'll do is probably fix the grill. I have like most of it, but even the most of it that I have is like pretty beaten up and cracked and whatnot. So I'm probably going to use that as a mold and just fiberglass, like a whole new one. I was thinking that was going to be maybe like a more frivolous thing I would do later on, until I realized that the bumper is actually the grill insert is actually part of what holds the lights, the indicator lights in place. So to be able to drive it legally on the road, I have to fix this grill pretty much before anything else. So that'll be probably the very next thing that I do. That'll be the next episode. In the meantime, keep up with the study vlog also on my channel. Just go to the channel and look for any playlists with the word Flatiron in them. You can kind of snoop around there and see what I'm up to in terms of my education. So that's it for the first episode of the second season of the 20s in my 20s. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far in the video, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a subscribe, or even give the video a like. And until next time.